Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day to start things off. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter and Square, says he's giving away $1 billion or 28% of his wealth to help fight all the nonsense that's been going on. The money will come from the 43-year-old stake in payment giant Square. It will be managed by Start Small LLC Charitable Foundation. The plan is to first focus on fighting 19. Once it's over or done, the fund will then be dedicated to universal basic income and to support the health and education of girls. Dorsey explains that he's sourcing the funds from his shares in Square and not Twitter because he has more stock in the payment processing firm. He said, "I own a lot more Square and I need to pace the sales over time. The impact this money will have should benefit both companies over the long term because it's helping the people we want to serve." Dorsey also shares why he chose to support these particular causes. He said, "I believe they represent the best long-term solutions to the existential problems facing the world. UBI is a great idea needing experimentation. Girls' health and education is critical to balance," end quote. The billionaire says he hopes his decision will create a ripple effect that will encourage others to take similar charitable actions. He said, "Life is too short, so let's do everything we can today to help people now." And apparently it's all going to be tracked on a Google spreadsheet so everyone can see exactly where all the money is going. The thing to focus on, I guess, here, because we are a money channel, as it were, the $1 billion is absolutely unfathomable. There are, of course, other rich people who have been donating during this period to help in the efforts to combat exactly what's going on. But it's still, and I assume you'll all agree with me, very rare that anybody would give. No one gives this much money. No one outrightly gives over a quarter of their wealth to be able to do stuff like this. One of the main takeaways is I've noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm here to make sure that you now notice there is an increasing amount of support for UBI. That is Universal Basic Income. The idea is everyone, every month, depending on where you are, you get a certain amount of money to help you along your way. The idea has always been, if you, let's say it's never intended to cover everything that you need for the entire month, but it's meant to make things a bit easier so that you don't have to struggle, as it were. One of the, like I said, if you have not been paying attention, for those of you who are not looking at the screen, it says Spain is moving to establish a permanent basic income because of 19. Spain to become first country to roll out universal basic income. This is going to become a huge trend. Many of you remember what we spoke about the last couple of days. The issue that we're currently having right now, and I've seen the comment section as well, and I'm sorry that this has happened to a lot of you. A lot of people telling me that they've been out of work since mid-February, March, and one can only assume that this is going to continue on for much longer. As we have seen the news yesterday that I was telling everybody about, it's expected that this will go on minimum 6 months, but most people are estimating between 12 to 18 months. If we end up in a situation, even if it is 6 months, people won't be able to survive. That's not good. I can't find any other word in my head to kind of put that all together. So what we have now, things like this have been proposed before. They've been proposed here in Canada. This was, like in the 70s. I think there was also a trial in the States in the 70s for like a universal basic income. The idea being, give everyone a couple hundred per month, allow them to go on their way. And it makes people feel more secure, especially if you end up not having a job. What we are currently going through is hyper unprecedented, if you have not noticed. Things like this haven't happened since, I think, the 1918, maybe even before that, 1912. I don't remember the exact year. When it does happen, it wreaks havoc across entire economies, across the entire world. And the fact that the world is much more connected and a lot larger now means that we're going to feel the shockwaves of this for a very long time. So I guess part of what I'm really trying to say is that whether you want it or not, I remember a lot of opposition before. We were discussing EOS. I believe it was about a year or two ago. It must have been around 2 years, where they decided to bring up the discussion of universal basic income across the EOS blockchain. You would sign up for it, that you would have a digital ID, as it were, so they knew exactly who you were. And then every single month you would receive money from them. A lot of people, for some reason, thought that that would take money out of their paychecks. That doesn't make any sense if you don't. No, you're not an EOS token, so that would take no money away from you. One of the main fears a lot of people do have is that it will increase taxes. I have no real answer for you. There is no real cure-all. Didn't mean to say it that way, but like, you understand what I'm saying to this exact situation. But even the idea or the implementation of a relief check, which is happening inside of the United States, these are also expected to actually continue as well. I saw news about a day ago that there was a proposition that this could roll out every month or every other month until things are under control. But then one has to assume if this continues on for 18 months, it kind of then just becomes a normal, regular thing. So we are diving headfirst into a world where automation, like we spoke about, is going to take over very rapidly. Don't forget, I think a lot of people, the news that would normally be news is being heavily overshadowed right now by 19. It is just completely overshadowed. Don't forget that last year we were discussing that this is now the year where Uber and is it Tesla planned on launching their self-driving fleets. These things are going to launch. They have them. Not saying that you'll see them on the streets today or tomorrow or within the next 6 months, but they are there. Things are going to be heavily hyper-automated over the next couple of months as governments and countries and businesses try to make sure that they can still create things. Yeah, it's very fascinating. I dare not even ask what many people think about UBI. Like I said, it doesn't really matter what you think or what any of us actually think about it. It's going to happen. We cannot have a situation where can you imagine the next 6 months? April, May, June, July, August, September. Can you imagine until September or October you can't work? Think about that. Like, think honestly. Think about your current situation. You cannot go to work. You don't get a paycheck until September or October. And even then, you have to worry, is your business you were working for still open? Are they going to hire the same amount of people? Are you in catering? Are you in business, hotel management, anything like that? These are also going to suffer greatly. So we will probably get an answer within the next, I want to say 3 to 4 months as to which other countries are going to do this. I was very shocked when I saw this from Spain, which leads me to believe that there are probably other, if we've been going through this for a couple of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks at this point, one can only assume that they are having other conversations with other European countries about also implementing the exact same thing. This will also then move quickly around the world for other countries who are like, we also have to do something, which then leads us into that. I mean, it's just things that are happening I did not assume would happen for a very long time. And lo and behold, here we are. They're taking place a lot faster than I assumed. Even if you haven't read the news, I'm not going to go over it in great length because I think it's Google and Apple. They're creating apps for people in the US. The news I heard was you could download them, but apparently it may become a mandate to download them. And then you have to tell them if you have or had 19, and therefore they'll be able to track you and see where you're going so that you can kind of make sure that you are safe. We've gone full Hunger Games. Like we are barreling towards a Hunger Games-esque type situation. Anyway, yeah, that's the UBI news, if you will, for the day. There are other countries who are also discussing this, of course. But at the moment, I think it's Canada, the US, Germany, and one other country who have outright, I think, said that they are going to be sending money to people living within their countries. And Spain, thus far, is the first one to say that they're going to do it. And even also, it says government plans to keep payments a permanent instrument even after everything is over. This is... The last 4 months have completely changed the world. Completely. And it's only going to continue. So I can imagine what else is going to roll out of the something over the next couple of months. Anyway, yeah. Get ready for it, because we are probably going to... I give it 3 to 5 years. There should be complete UBI across the entire world. Every billionaire has been talking about this for a very long time. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, I don't want to," but it's like, yeah, you may be in a very comfortable situation where you maybe have tons of assets, you maybe have tons of investments, maybe your passive income from the other things that you own, you're doing just dandy. But other people, a couple billion other people on the planet aren't. So, yeah. Anyway. This is going to happen. I'm just kind of alerting all of you to what the future is going to hold. Let's continue on. Next up, you're going to see a pattern in this video. A lot of the news that has been coming out is very patterned. Casper Labs, the firm tasked with developing Ethereum's implementation of proof of stake, known as Casper, has decided to launch its own blockchain. Oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. According to a recent announcement, Casper Labs plans to launch its own proof-of-stake blockchain in collaboration with Singapore-based crypto exchange BitMax. BitMax will host Casper Labs exchange's validator offering, and allow retail investors to get a hold of the network's CLX tokens. The exchange will also operate a full node on the network at its launch to facilitate staking for retail sale participants. According to the offering's website, the founding target is $3 million or Tether dollars, and will sell investors 10% of the total supply of the 10 billion Casper Lab coins. Casper Lab plans to put about 20% of the supply in circulation during the first year after the mainnet launch. The EVO is part of the validator round, and all the purchase tokens will be locked for 90 days after the mainnet launch, which is expected to take place in Q3 of 2020. During the lock period, the tokens will participate in validator staking and earn staking rewards. Okay, let's back up for a second. Casper and Plasma, for those of you who do not know, were touted as upgrades or innovative solutions to Ethereum's slowness, to Ethereum being able to do 15 max transactions per second. If you really punch it, if you really let it have it, it can maybe do 15 transactions per second. We had news a month ago that Plasma something is planning on creating their own blockchain and their own token. And lo and behold, Casper, the other side of that equation, is also planning on launching their own blockchain and token. Wow, I didn't see that coming in any way, shape, or form. The other part being, just going to throw this out there. This is going to be, not to say, listen, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Casper Labs token might one day be in the top 10. Who knows? However, investors getting 10% of the 10 billion tokens. Wow. The other portion being 20% of the supply is going to enter circulation. And I assume the other 80% of that will probably be held by Casper Labs. It also gets us to a discussion of centralization, who's holding all the funds. I assume it'll have a trickle-out effect from the company the same way that Lumens is doing it. But then once again, you also get into the same exact discussion, right? And then the other thing being, it doesn't matter if it's an EVO, an ICO, an STO. I think there's also an IEO, an IVO, whatever you decide to name it. I have a feeling that it is April 2020. Let's say March 2022, we are probably going to have a news story that the SEC is going to have the people from Casper Labs in court because this entire sale of this token is going to be deemed a security. Just throwing that out there. every single project that we've seen has come under the scrupulous. No, that's not it. The scrutiny-eyed. It's come under the scrutiny of the SEC because they don't like anyone creating anything that could be used as money or have value without them kind of knowing. So I guess the major news is there's going to be another coin floating around. Do we need another coin? Probably not. We have 10,000 already. Somebody, it's always one person, got mad at me for saying that we don't need 10,000 coins. We don't. We have garbage already in the top 50. If we can properly weed everything out and wash all the nonsense away, like why are Bitcoin Diamond and Bitcoin Gold and BSV, and I dare even say Bcash, why are these in the top 50 when we know that no one's using them? I don't know if you've been looking at the news about BSV and Bcash the last couple of days, but things aren't looking too bright for them. So when you have this overvaluation of things that actually aren't being used, it leads us to the discussion, why not just create a blockchain where things are happening on the actual platform? Why do things have to have a value? Anyway, the point is, Casper's making their own coin. That's wonderful. That's amazing. If you plan on being a part of this EVO, ICO, like I said, it doesn't matter what letters you use for it. Just understand that there's probably going to be a high risk chance, because even companies who've gone to the SEC or the CFTC before to be like, hey, here's our paperwork, they still got in trouble in some sort of way. So protect your investments. Aim for blue chip cryptos as opposed to the new hottest trends out there. Anyway, yeah, that's the Casper Labs news. Was there any other? Wait, there's Casper Plasma. What else was there? I'm expecting another. We no longer work with Ethereum. Let's make our own coin. Coin will be poking its head out relatively soon. Next up, Coinbase is ramping up its efforts to support the growth of DeFi, or decentralized finance protocols, on the Ethereum network. Like I said, you are going to see a trend. After investing in money-making protocol Compound, an open trading platform, DYDX, that's DYDX, the digital currency exchange says it is now giving additional funding to Uniswap and Pool Together, two popular apps on the Ethereum network. Uniswap is an automated exchange that facilitates swapping between Ether and ERC20 tokens. In a statement released on the 2nd of April, Coinbase said the platform is becoming one of the most liquid exchanges on Ethereum. That's wonderful. Their constant market maker model makes it easy to launch a liquid exchange for any token and is increasingly becoming critical infrastructure for tokens and applications that need liquidity. Pool Together, which bills itself as a no-loss savings game that's powered by blockchain technology, allows users to buy tickets using stablecoins DAI, or USDC, that can earn interest through Compound. One ticket holder is then randomly chosen each week to win all of the accrued interest, while those who did not win keep their initial funds. Sure, wonderful. That's fantabulous. For those of you who don't know, the CEO of Coinbase O is in love with Ethereum O. We had news many moons ago. I didn't mean to have all those O's there. That was the last O. Many moons before, where he pretty much outright said that he thinks that he didn't say it in such strong terms. He said he thinks that Bitcoin is not it, and that Ethereum will be the future. My assumption was he probably got into Bitcoin late, didn't care for the price, saw Ethereum at $1, and then gobbled it all up as much as he possibly could. And this is why he is an Ethereum head. Not a term, just thought I'd make it. So it's no surprise, even for those of you who remember 2018, remember when we were asking Coinbase, hey, can you add these 8 other coins to the platform? And they were like, I got you, bro. And they added, what was it, like 60 ERC20 tokens? And we were all like, that's not what we were asking for. Can you add those coins? Gotcha, cool. 10 more ERC20 tokens. So Coinbase loves Ethereum, so it is only expected that they would dump money into the Ethereum ecosystem. And this is also the news that like we're getting. I can imagine what they've been doing behind the scenes. It's at that point where Ethereum, I mean, come on. by July, Ethereum, the amount of news that we keep getting about the support for Ethereum is almost a bit maddening. And it's because in not maddening like, oh, I hate Ethereum. It's more like there's too much happening with Ethereum for the upgrade to not happen. You'll see you'll see as we go on. It's more like if all this stuff is launching and 2.0 doesn't launch in July, and Ethereum stays at 3 to 5 to 15 transactions per second, what's going to happen to all these projects? So anyway, that's the Coinbase news. And I mean, here we go again. This is clarification from yesterday. According to a user post on Reddit, which was later confirmed by a company spokesperson, Reddit is experimenting with recording points. This is a new system implemented for subreddits, which gives the users extra benefits. Ethereum's ERC20 tokens store these points. So the news is that apparently Reddit is creating their own blockchain or their own wallet, but it's going to be called Points. Sure. And is going to be using the Ethereum blockchain. So my assumption would be, we had a situation in 2017, 2018, where someone made a cat game, like you could collect pictures of cats on Ethereum, and it clogged the network. I'm going to assume, as big as Reddit is, this is a huge assumption, but it should logically work, even though the planet doesn't work off of logic. If Reddit is planning on using Ethereum or a token-based Ethereum point system, ERC20, whatever, they probably have had discussions with the people from Ethereum. They were like, hey, can your system handle this? Can you imagine something like this running alongside Ethereum? And there's a really big news story one day, and Ethereum gets clogged up just from Reddit. I hope that behind the scenes, not only is 2.0 going to happen, but all these companies have been like, can you handle this? Like, can you show us proof with a non-disclosure agreement that we all signed with you that Ethereum 2.0 is going to launch sometime in July? Anyway, yeah, so it's been confirmed. That photo that someone took, is it here? Nope. The photo that someone took yesterday, or the screenshot of the wallet and all the other stuff, was apparently true. But now we know the confirmation that Reddit is now working or using Ethereum. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Another Ethereum story. Despite the chaos in the markets over the last several months, 2019 was a good year for decentralized applications, or dApps, and especially for the emerging DeFi sector. A new report issued by analytics site dApp Review shows that the number of dApp transactions that occurred in Q1 of 2020 increased tenfold over the same period in 2019. A transaction volume of just under 8 billion over more than a dozen blockchains took place in Q1 of 2020, an increase of more than 82%. And there's a little tweet right there. And it's the three leading smart contract chains, Ethereum, EOS, and Tron, that are leading the charge. The three networks account for 99%, insane, 99% of all dApp transactions, according to dApp Review. But it's Ethereum's based DeFi projects that really stand out from the pack. Transaction volumes across these dApps has increased by more than 800% over the same year. Most of the DeFi projects make use of the ERC20 tokens rather than the blockchain's native Ether. Overall, the transaction volume of Ether-based dApps exceeds 5.6 billion, a jump of more than 650%. More than 80% of this volume came by way of ERC20 tokens. Something's happening behind the scenes. We can't see it because it's digital and it's floating through the air, and it's numbers and stuff. The point is, there's a huge rumbling around not only DeFi, which is also an entirely different conversation to have right now, because the entire decentralized finance space, Chainlink, Compound, all the other names that are kind of out there are, I don't want to say not even focusing on price. I mean, actual usage wise, are doing absolutely fantastic. Tons of people are actually using these projects and products. I'm going to assume that if Ethereum does upgrade to 2.0 in July, by the end of the year, we should have a major bank, a major institution, a major something announcing that they're going to also be launching their own decentralized finance project on top of Ethereum. This is why it was very interesting the other month when we had the news from JP Morgan that they were going to be building directly on top of Ethereum, and the price didn't even move. The fact that JP Morgan announced, yes, we are using Ethereum, the price didn't go anywhere, nonsense. So we'll see. The amount of Ethereum news, DApp, transaction, DeFi, partnership news is completely out of control. So are good things coming? Who knows? That's just kind of how, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. If there's no upgrade this year, I don't know what to think about life anymore. Because all signs are pointing to, you have to assume that the other companies have been in discussions with the people from Ethereum or some other whatever. And like, can you handle this? If we build this or do this, will the entire network crash or crumble and fall apart? Yeah. Let's move on. And to finish things off, governments around the world are careening toward a period of dramatic spending. The U.S. Federal Reserve announced another $2.3 trillion in lending programs on Thursday to stabilize the economy. The Bank of England announced it will likely extend billions of pounds to directly finance the government's crisis response. I think this was also another discussion that was also going around. I've lived in the UK several times. I don't think the UK is going to announce UBI anytime soon. I just feeling in my bones. All this inspires inflation concerns around the globe, which appears to be driving demand for Bitcoin in some corners. The non-stop quantitative easing process will finally impact the midterm and long-term market. This was said by Danny Dang, a leading member of both the China Blockchain Application Center and the National Internet Finance Association of China. He said Bitcoin is designed for this kind of situation, so I'm optimistic about Bitcoin's future. China is also expected to announce a stimulus package of its own. Surprise, surprise. Deng said he expects the People's Bank of China to use a digital currency. Oh, here we go. Here's another. Yeah. This is it. This was the other one. He expects the People's Bank of China to use a digital currency to distribute a stimulus package, which he sees as a complementary catalyst to the Bitcoin mining industry. It is, of course, speculation, but part of the implementation of a central bank digital currency, especially right now, as we had news a couple of weeks ago that apparently I think the planned launch was sometime in summer, because Facebook was supposed to have had their coin, I think, in June, but then it got pushed back to October. So the rumor circulating now is that if things can't get back to normal within China, they're going to also have to implement some type of a universal basic income through the actual digital coin that they're going to be creating. What a time to be alive. There is, even just the news that we keep getting, I have so many question marks floating above my head right now. The news that we were getting before, that there are so many people around the world who are not only buying up Bitcoin, but using Bitcoin, hoarding Bitcoin, buying fragments of Bitcoin, the trading volumes and all these other countries and stuff like that going up massively. Bitcoin's price doesn't really react. It's kind of a little weird, especially with all the other stuff that's been going on around the world. Even just the level of adoption that we're seeing right now is incredible. So I'll leave my tinfoil hat in the corner for now as to why I think Bitcoin's price isn't or hasn't been going up or isn't above 15,000 at this point. But yes, you should all be looking out for the implementation of more countries having universal basic income. I don't know what it would take for the US to implement one. I don't even know if it's possible. I don't know if they're kind of the largest money printers right now. The US would undergo a very heavy level of inflation if this were to happen. I mean, it just in general, all over the place. So I wonder how, if this continues for 6 months, how do people get relief? How do they pay their bills? If the effects of this are felt for the next 12 to 18 months, the US will almost certainly be forced to have some type of a monthly payment system, or even if it's just for low income earners. If you earn less than 30, 40,000 per year, and I know that doesn't sound like low income, you've never been to parts of the States before. Yeah, I mean, certain places in America are a bit wild when it comes to rent. I've seen studios, that is to say a room. I think they go for like $4,000 per month in San Francisco. I've seen 3 bedrooms in New York go for like $6,000 a month. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time ahead for us all, but what can you do about it? As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Yasha Harari, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Josh Gorsica, Chongololo, Tsongololo, Nostromo, Mr. Pickles, John Sarson, Yanama Rita, A Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohamaroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Jared Schneider, it's time to get a new phone, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Milweezy, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Nicholas Renault, One Peace, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Krypton Beer, Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, His Chest Every Day, and Kyle Skip Leg Day. Yes to Crypto. Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arf Medic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Hold On, I Have to Sneeze. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And thank you to everyone who is a supporter of the channel and is a member. At the moment, the market is looking a little weird. We have stable coins are shooting up. I think we just also saw USDC. Yeah, this one's also shooting up as well, which means that people are selling off their crypto and the money is going into stable coins. Bitcoin is currently at $6,910 at the time of me making this video. I would not be shocked if we see another tumble in prices. There doesn't, yeah, the trading volumes are also down. And the last time we saw Bitcoin was 32 billion. I think Ether was actually only 7 billion. So I guess that number is a bit healthier. A lot of the other coins are also, as one might assume, down at the moment. But yeah, nothing too significant here or there. Chainlink is still up by 8%. There is a dip that is forming. Who knows? This weekend could be a, what's the word? Could surprise us all. We could see an upswing upwards. I think the fear of just everything that's going on and the uncertainty is definitely causing prices like, why is Bitcoin Gold up more than Bitcoin? The market needs to rid itself of all the useless tokens. That's just how I feel about it, because so many of these things are not needed. And even crazier, I'm sure that there are actually many projects within the top 100, maybe even top 200. I don't say a lot. I say a heavy sprinkle of coins out there, probably actually incredible. But they'll never get the attention they need or deserve, because we have stuff like Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Diamond, who sometimes rears its head in the top 50. Anyway, yeah, that's the crazy news for today. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having as much as you can, a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.